Keep Tanks there. Tank, you there?
Yeah, how are you doing, Mr. Scott?
Very good, thanks. Welcome to BALLZ Visual Radio today.
Thanks very much. It's always a pleasure. I see you very strong on Twitter today. There's a big race going on.
Yeah.
I know you got grumpy, but I mean, I've forgotten that I didn't follow you in a personal capacity, so at least I got you an extra follower.
Jeez, it's like very corporate. Only his corporate account will follow us, but not Tank personally.
Well, you could have followed BALLZ Radio as well, Tank.
He is now.
I think I did.
Yeah, he did now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Nice avatar as well, by the way.
I'm 30 guy.
Beer guzzler.
Is that the Virgin Active campaign?
It is indeed.
Okay, I was wondering. And can I just, while we not talking blogs, can I just say that it is a shocking performance by you in the Vodacom Super Rugby ad?
That is him, isn't
Cannot
it?
believe that's you.
It is a shocking performance.
Dude, that is
It is.
him.
I had a feeling, and I thought, no.
A very heavily airbrushed Tank landing.
Every time we talk to Tank now these days, the Blue Oyster Bar music will play. Gee. I mean, couldn't they come up with something better for the Stormers than that?
Well, you know, I saw it was they had to wax my chest. It was terrible.
Serves you right for saying yes to that silly outfit. How you doing, Billy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Darren. How are you guys?
Let me just press that so Tank can hear you, and press that so you can hear Tank. I don't think you heard him at all there, right?
No, I had him.
Okay.
His dulcet tones were coming too strong.
All right. How's Billy's out there in Neisner? How's Neisner today?
Yeah, first sunny day for a while. It's been pelting here.
Fantastic. Have the alternative FM guys on 91.3 pumped that signal loud enough to reach Neisner yet?
I tried it the other day in my car, but I wasn't picking it up. But that was a couple of days ago.
No.
But I'm mostly on a bicycle, so...
Do I spot a new avatar coming? Adkis Poseidonhout or one of those?
Could be,
Could be. All right. By the way, Tank, are you monitoring on 91.3? All going strong there?
Yes, it is. Still hasn't reached the silky little hollow called Pinelands, but whenever I get in the car, it picks it up very nicely.
All right. By the way, the guys at Alternative FM 91.3 have been monitoring tweets for people that are struggling to get it in certain areas. It definitely does go beyond Cape Town and the suburbs because we've heard that we've been picked up in Elgin and places like that. So they are going to look into those areas. So just watch that space. And with no follow the bounce today, I think he's sulking because Irene performed a massive photograph for us in South African bikini and claimed it as a BALLZ one. So I think he's sulking.
Have you boys seen that?
It is truly tremendous.
It is truly enough to make anyone a patriot, even if you're not South African. You'll still be proudly South African with that picture.
No life jacket needed there.
No ways.
it made me want to go out and hug someone.
Maybe you want to go out and do something else to someone.
Simon, easy.
Shake their hand.
Okay. Simply Sean's here in the absence of Bounce, and of course has now become a regular here on Blogz. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Very cool to be here again.
Nice to have you guys. Right, the subjects then were.
They were. What sport should be added to the next Olympic Games?
Whose subject was that?
I think that was Bounce.
Okay, that was Bounce. Yeah.
Sounds like him.
Then we've got Tank's topic here. No, this is actually probably Billy's. Can the Sharks do the impossible and prove Tim Noakes wrong on Saturday?
Was that you, Billy?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
And then Olympics, like the Soccer World Cup, a waste of taxpayers' money. Which the powers of deduction leave that
to Grunt.
And
anything but rugby is a waste of taxpayers' money. Is that the thing?
Well, Tank, you'll be pleased to know that got 6% of the votes.
I saw it was a little short on popularity, not to worry.
Well, especially with all the euphoria of our Olympic achievements now. I mean, everyone, if you follow Twitter, it's just Olympics. Nothing like a few gold medals to get people interested. What I love about it, though, is I was thinking on the way in today, how many people actually even knew that we had a rowing team at the Olympic Games before, and now you look at Twitter and everyone is declaring everyone heroes and stuff. It's amazing.
I had no idea. I had no idea. That was the first rowing race I'd ever watched in my life. It was fantastic. All I knew about rowing is I heard that Britain were the highest ranked in the coxless division, and I agreed, but then I listened closely and they were talking about
have
rowing.
no cocks.
But it was fantastic.
No, Britain has no cocks. The British have no cocks.
I know.
That's why they're only in the coxless division.
The cock-free society, not to worry.
Can you imagine how gutted old Sam Ransami was? Because he probably also didn't know we had a rowing team, and he didn't manage to make it to the medal ceremony.
Hey, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Is it 400,000 rand an athlete gets per medal?
No,
Yes.
pay
Well-
medal. Yeah.
Per medal. So that's
Is it per medal or per, so the each
per guy.
rower gets 400,000?
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
so that was 1.6 down the drain of
no,
the
no, no, no,
Sascot
no,
gravy
they're gonna
train.
no, they're gonna share the 400,000.
But
It's
that's
one
not
gold.
fair.
It's one medal.
Yeah, it is, because this is a team event.
Yeah, it's a team.
I know, but you're going to get less than. I mean, Chad Leclos is going to
Yeah,
get
he did it on
400,000.
his own.
I
He
know,
did it on his own.
but
Chad should get double because he beat Michael Phelps.
I don't think that's fair, though. I think
No, but
each.
listen, in,
He's
when
getting a
they-
cow
when the
too.
relay team won, they each got whatever the amount per medal.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember. I
No,
think-
they
I
didn't
think
get
it's
anything, according to when we chatted to Rake. They never got their bonuses from that last little promise.
Yeah, they're still waiting. Sascock
Yeah.
pays out on like a, what's it, a 3,060 day principle, yeah?
I think there are conditions. One of those, if you don't sing the anthem after you get your medal, they found a loophole to not pay you. So
So all
they
these
still
poor guys welling up in tears, not being able to get it out.
doesn't crying does not count. So the rowers are all getting their cash, but I don't know if the other two are, because neither of them sang the anthem. So there we go. I'm sure there's terms and conditions. So what was the winning subject?
The winning subject on 52% of the vote is: can the Sharks do the impossible and prove Tim Noakes wrong on Saturday?
Oh, Billy.
Highly disappointed that one won, Billy. Even as a blind Shark supporter, I would much rather have chatted about Bounce's topic today.
Well, we can deal with that and then chat about it anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
The,
should
the
we-
Olympics have kind of done what the rowers have done and made a late charge, but yeah, we can fit them in, I'm sure.
promise you, it's like the rugby's so under the radar this week. You know, I haven't been in Durban, and I'm sure that there's a lot of hype about the Sharks game. But I mean, every now and again, I've got to remind myself that the game's this weekend because of all this Olympic hype and the gold medals and stuff. But all right, well, let's quickly do a whip around and see which events should be added to the Olympics. Obviously, Tank, the rugby doesn't count because it is being added next time.
It is indeed. I think they're 2015, a seven-a-side version. But I mean, I was being slightly serious with my topic suggestion. I mean, it does seem a little bit over the top in terms of how many women's sports they've got at the Olympics and how many people actually are out. I'm a naysayer, and no one was anything negative about the Olympics at the moment. But I think any sport that has its own World Cup probably shouldn't be at the Olympics. And I think that any person who isn't going to challenge to be in a final shouldn't be at the Olympics either. But I know that is against the Olympic spirit because everyone likes to see Eric the Eel swim 100 slower than I do, and everyone waits for that and everyone sings and it's fun. But I'm not sure that's what the Olympics should be about. So it's a long-winded version of saying I don't think any sport should be added to the Olympics.
Yeah. All right, so Tank says no more sports. In fact, there are too many, and there are too many events. I suppose one way to look at it is to have your have rankings determined. So, like everything you do for the 4 years up to an Olympics leads towards whether you qualify or not. So we don't have these incessant heats to get into a heat, to get into a heat for a semi-final, to get into a semi-final, to get into a final, and just go straight into a whole lot of finals. But as you say, that takes away the Eddie the Eagle and Eric the Eel factor from the Olympic Games, which
Jamaican
is what it's all
bobsled team, all that nonsense.
Jamaican bobsledders, yeah, those guys, which are, and of course Bert Leclos, who has become an Olympic hero in his own right and qualified for nothing other than fathering the gold medalist in the 200 butterfly, and we're very proud to have him there.
Unbelievable!
Can you imagine how pissed old Blogz is with the old unbelievables? I mean, there must be a trademark on those things.
Yeah, no, we chatted. I told him. Blades channeled himself through me, and I told him that he should not stop that rubbish.
Yeah,
He must try a few wonderfuls, surely.
No, that's also copyrighted.
we should have asked. But we should have. If Chad wins gold in the 100 butterfly, we should have asked Bert. When he gets dragged into the BBC commentary box, I cannot believe how he tempered himself in that interview compared to what he was doing on our show today.
Yeah, but he's a media superstar now. He doesn't care.
If you haven't heard the interview, go and listen to it. It is unbelievable. But we should have actually asked him to throw in wonderful next time. It is there on BALLZ.co.za. Sean, what do you reckon? What sport should be added?
BALLZ.
BALLZ is there.
It's not. It's been taken off.
I'm looking at Bull. Sorry.
Yeah, but Bull is. Why? Which countries? Because apparently it's supposed to be a certain percentage of countries have to play the sport for it to be added. Now, who the frick plays Bull?
The French.
Yeah, France, exactly.
And all their colonies that they can beat. So it all works. You know?
But bowling's there.
Bowling is only a Commonwealth sport. It's not a.
Yes, that's yeah.
It's only in the Commonwealth Games. It's
I
not
want
in
it
the
in. It
Olympics.
just makes me feel good about myself that I'm not over the hill yet whenever I watch bowls. That's why I want it in. You know, everyone's at least 60 years plus when they look at it.
It's the Summer Olympics version of that thing with the broom.
Oh,
Curling.
curling.
What is going on with that sport?
We'll talk about that at the Winter Olympics, Sean. Let's focus on the summers. Billy?
Yeah, well, this takes me back to that the blogs we did with which sports are actually hobbies, and I think we decided that any sport where a 60-plus-year-old can be competitive is a hobby. So, BALLZ is out of here.
And which sport do you think should be added?
Yeah, that's a tough one because in some ways I agree with Tank. I mean, the one sport which I cannot fathom is at the Olympics is soccer, because as soon as you start putting restrictions that you can only have 3 players over 23 years old or whatever it is, I mean, you're totally devaluing the gold medal. It's basically a youth medal that you're going to get for soccer, which surely the point of an Olympic medal is to be the best in the world. But obviously, I mean, the Soccer World Cup's a bigger event than the Olympics, I would think, in terms of viewership and stuff. So, I'm sure old Uncle Sepp probably puts that rule in place because he doesn't want competition for the FIFA World Cup. But I just think that's ridiculous. They need to get soccer out of there.
Yeah, soccer out of there.
Yeah, but I mean, you either have the best teams there or don't play the game. This whole age restriction. Imagine having are we only going to play, golf? Golf's going to be in the Olympics, but we can only have guys under 30. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So is golf at the next Olympics?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Yes.
I know,
2016, yeah.
I know Mr. Player was in contention to design the golf course, but he lost out on the. Surprisingly, he lost out on it.
All right. Did you watch our interview with Sally Little earlier?
I didn't. Sorry, man. I've been in a meeting this afternoon.
Go and have a listen on our website later on. All right. If golf's going to be added, that's a sport that's a no-brainer to be added because they've got the facilities in every country. Yep. You just go to the golf course, add it as another tournament, and someone wins a gold medal. I mean, simple.
I'd like to see Gary, Mr. Player, represent us actually.
Yeah, I mean, surely if they're going to have golf, they're going to have a senior.
Got to have the best. Yeah,
yes. It's harder to win. Yeah.
He's won a few gold medals though.
Yeah, 3 at the Open.
Yeah, so he's already a gold medalist.
Can I throw a question here? Why is it good enough to give an Olympic gold medal to someone who sits on the back of a horse and gets his horse to lift one leg, but someone who can do 1,000 push-ups while holding the Olympic flame, there's no sport for that. There's no category for that person.
Is that the dressage that you're referring to?
Yeah.
That I don't understand. I thought they got medals depending on what they wore. That guy's got a lovely top hat. He gets the gold. I don't understand that sport at all, to be honest. It just looks like the horse is doing a trot around the block while a human's on top of it.
And the horse gets nothing. The horse gets absolutely, and he's the only one that has to actually toe the line. Lift your leg. Round of applause. Well done. Gold medal.
And the commentator says, "Ooh, look how he lifted his heels. This guy's an amazing athlete."
I saw a fantastic photo today I don't know if you guys have ever been to a website called The Poke. It's British,
brilliant.
Humorous.
You try typing that into your space bar or the subject line and see what comes up there, Billy.
Yeah, you don't want to Google that.
That's what I do.
But they had a great, they've got this Olympic blog up there, and one of the pictures is of old Zara Phillips and her horse, and the caption, and this was on a website. It's got the horse's name, and then in brackets it's got left and Zara Phillips, and that's I mean, their caption is priceless. They're like, isn't she going to be pissed off that they had to add the left?
All right, well, let's leave the Olympics there because it wasn't the winning subject. So when we come back after our headlines, we're going to be talking about what was the winning subject, which is can the Sharks disprove Tim Noakes' theory and go and win the Super Rugby title in Hamilton.
I just want to chuck 2 sports in there quickly. It was the one being darts. I think I should have that. And
Great athletes on show watching
yeah.
darts.
180, yeah. So they should bring darts in, and then they should bring back tug of war.
Old school, nice.
Great call.
It is a good call because
No, I know what you want to
Simon's
say.
well practiced and he still wants
One man tug of wars.
He thinks he has a chance of gold here in the Olympic Games. Yeah, only one of two sports where you can win a gold medal going backwards. Tug of war and, of course, today, the gold in the row. The big subject today, Tim Noakes' theories, just put forward by Billy, right?
Yeah, that's right. Huh?
All right. Tim Noakes' theories about the whole travel aspect for the Sharks. Can they negate that and go and win the final in Hamilton? Now, just for those that don't know, what John Plumtree has done is he's actually tried to keep the Sharks on Australian time from their Brisbane trip where they beat the Reds, and have based themselves in Sydney until today, where they would have headed out earlier on, a few hours ago, to Hamilton. So, Billy, it's your subject. You go first. With that in mind, can they?
Yeah, in short, yes. But yeah, let me take you through a couple of points here. I think the first part is my original topic was going to be, is there anything more useless than the Stormers trophy cabinet? But I thought Tank Landing might drive down to Knysna and slap me, so I thought I would change it pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the guys, I mean, they've travelled 20,000 kilometres or so in the space of 3 weeks. I read, you know, I mean, obviously Tim Noakes' name has been thrown in there, but Ross Tucker, who I think is the result of a late night at the Green Man in the 70s by Tim Noakes, has been saying a few things on Stormers 24, and yeah, basically what he said is, and I mean, this is just factual, is 35% of the matches in Super Rugby have been won by the away team, and only 20% of the matches won by the away team if they happen to cross time zones. So I mean, that's quite a damning stat to think about. I mean, the Sharks have clearly ignored that over the last few weeks, but I mean, he reckons the Sharks have basically got a 15-point deficit when they take on the Chiefs, if you consider all the travel. Against the Stormers, he said it was between 8 or 10 points. So effectively, the Stormers actually won that game, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see them in the final.
I have no idea how you can come up with an actual number, like 8 or 10 points between like kilometers.
Don't get Sean Dewberry excited again, eh?
Yeah, it's all in the stats, apparently. It's all in the stats. But yeah, I mean, anyway, I'm sure these guys have fantastic theories about how you can add 5 points per time zone for, you know, for this. But
an extra point per connecting flight. I have no idea how you can come up with that. You know?
I mean, I think it's, you know, you minus points if there's good-looking air hostesses on the flight. You know, I don't know what the other factors are, but anyway, the other thing that to bring, you know, quite an interesting stat I found on a New Zealand website is before the semi-final, in the games that Steve Walsh had reffed, 64% of the time the away team has won this year, which is pretty amazing. So I'm hoping Walshy comes through for us. He certainly owes us a few.
Well, he owes you guys from an away loss back in 2007 as well.
It was a home loss.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a home loss for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, Walshy owes us a few. So I'm hopefully he's tuned in there, down in wherever he resides these days, somewhere in Australia, I think. But yeah, so that was quite an interesting stat, and yeah, basically, I mean, if you look at the sort of fan that rocks up in Hamilton, I mean, we seriously cannot lose to these guys. I mean, I put a picture on my blog today of some, like, you know, I'm not sure if it was a man or woman, or transgender, but yeah, it was pretty damn scary. Cowbell in hand and wearing the sort of German colours, which is the traditional Waikato.
Oh, we got the cowbells as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean the cowboys make the vuvuzela sound great.
Yes, like All right. Oh, that's something that the Sharks would have missed this entire week, is all the hype around the Chiefs in Hamilton. It might be a good thing, hey, Tank?
Yeah, indeed, a very good thing. Look, I mean, just to pick up on your point, Darren, I mean, I think, I do think the Sharks can do it. I think they're up against it like there is no tomorrow. I mean, it's a ridiculous travel schedule. It borders on the insane, and perhaps there is one thing to perhaps look at in the future, to perhaps put 2 weeks between the semi-final and the final, but that then just drags out this tournament even more. So, I'm not too sure too much can be done about it. I mean, it's a tournament played between countries that are split, 14 hours apart by plane, and we just have to get on with it. But I do like the fact that old Plumtree and the Sharks management have embraced this travel. And last week they came down to Cape Town a day earlier than they would normally. Just said, look, we're going to be in Cape Town, let's get down there earlier, let's take in the vibe. And as you said, they've been in Coogee in Sydney this week and only flew to Hamilton this morning.
Yeah.
But then, I just think they've embraced the trouble. Obviously it's a huge obstacle, but instead of moaning about it, they've said, listen, that's what's in front of us. Let's get on with it. And I do like that. Just on the Ross Tucker thing, because I wrote a column last week about where I tried to add some rugby science to his travel science, and to his credit, he left a comment on my blog, and he explained the whole scenario, and it's actually it is done scientifically. I know. So what they've done is, after every single result over 15 years, they've worked out points differences between teams that have travelled, and so just according to that, without making it sound too bloody serious, is that they can now, in his mind, he can basically put points to a travel. And what he was saying was that last week that basically the Stormers started with an 8-point advantage. So for the Sharks to have beaten the Stormers, they actually beat them by 15 points. So they were 15 points better than the Stormers. Now that's not saying too much about the Sharks, but probably a little bit more about the Stormers. I mean, I didn't think they were ever going to win a playoff match. I think they really need to have a good look in the mirror. They need to start playing some rugby where they look to score tries rather than just try and avoid losing games. I think they've got some real issues there. I mean, to have all the talent at their disposal that they do have and to not have a trophy, there's some proper issues there, and I think it boils down to the way they play their rugby. But back to the Sharks. Outstanding front row, truly excellent back row where Kankowski, Sherbert, we're going to miss him. I mean, I would love to see him in the Four Nations now, because Species having an away game, and Kankowski's now playing the best rugby of his whole life. McLeod and Michalak are world beaters at the moment, which is amazing. They don't seem to be missing Stain. This weekend they've got Jordan back and they've got Lambie back, and JP, he's got to be right up there with one of the top rugby players in the world at the moment. So they have the artillery. Can they get over this travel schedule, and can they get past a Chiefs side who have a really good halfback there? Kabalo and Cruden are outstanding. Sonny Bill has changed the way rugby's played, and they're just all muscle. They're fire and brimstone, and they'll challenge the Sharks much more than either the Reds or Stormers did. They're going to have to, it's a bit of a cliche now, but they're going to have to start strong like they've done in their other matches. And if they do that, I think they're in with a shot.
Yeah, because they're then it's just basically defend to the hilt. And I've just had this horrible nightmare that the Sharks leading going into the final minute or two of the game. Game gets to 80 minutes. Chiefs have got the ball. Sonny Bill gets it, middle of the field, and does a Brian Abana on them in the 82nd minute.
Why would you say that?
I've just had this nightmare. I've had this Sonny Bill nightmare.
Too much garlic.
Shut up, John.
Does anyone know what the weather's doing?
It's quite
Haven't looked
nice.
at.
Shut up, Johnny.
It's Hamilton. It'll rain. There we go. We don't know, but we'll check tomorrow. Reminder: Gary Teichman, George James Small in the hangout tomorrow. So look out for that. Gary Teichman and James Small in the hangout. Just got a tweet through, Tank, before we get on to Sean. Devon Hooper says that awkward. It's a hashtag that awkward moment when you find out some info about the very person you are listening to on BALLZ Radio at Front Row Grunt. And then on it is a screenshot of tweets. There's a tweet of yours that say, "Not sure that was decided, stand down Gary." And right above it is a tweet from something called Below the Tweet. The person below has a small penis.
Just confirming what we all knew, I think.
Just thought we'd share that from Devon.
These rumors have been around for a while.
Sean?
Yes, so the Sharks on the weekend. Look, I think one thing about this tournament is it's been... I mean, I agree with Tank on the aspect as well, that I think the idea of having their backs against the wall and embracing the travel is going to work in their favor, actually, in that kind of, you know, it would be such an amazing story if they do it. And they do have a great team. And it really has been a season of impossibles, hasn't it? I mean, if you said a couple of years ago that someone would top the whole log in Super Rugby without scoring 4 tries in one game, the best Australian side is only the 6th best on merit, and 6th would beat 1st in a semi-final, and someone would ditch Super Rugby to play in Japan, you know, everyone would laugh. I just think I got this funny feeling that, yes, Tim Noakes and all the travels and all the science, but I have this feeling that they could do it, and it works in their favor that they're not against seasoned champions as well. If it was the Crusaders, I might think a little bit twice, but if that game gets close, and you've got a lot of people that have never been there before looking at each other going, what do we do now?
The Sharks would do well to remind the Chiefs of that epic final against the Bulls at Loftus, when they came out here and got absolutely thumped.
Yeah. Player talent-wise, I mean, they've got the players, and the way they're playing at the moment, as Tank said, as Grunt said, it was like if they can overcome the travel and play like that, they can beat any side in this competition. I would have been more worried about the Crusaders, though, as you said, Sean, than the Chiefs. Tank, you'd agree, right?
I definitely would. Look, the big issue this week is shame. I mean, Tim Whitehead is an extraordinary good player, and his move away from the Cape has worked well for him because he's a very good player. Now to lose him inside centre, marking Sonny Bill, and not being able to use Steyn, that is a biggie. You know, and Paul Jordan has come on immeasurably since during and since the Junior World Cup. But sure, but that is a big ask. I saw a tweet today from, I can't remember who it was from, but you know, they're thinking that they might defend with Ludik at 12 and then attack with Jordan at 12, which, you know, I'm never a fan of that. The chopping and changing, I don't like it, and I don't think it would have made sense to play Bosman there. So I think Country's made a good move, but that is a big call. You know, Jordan is going to have to step up to the plate, and I think it'll probably be decided right there. And Darren, I hope your nightmare doesn't come true, but I kind of share the same thing.
Yeah, just so Billy, it was a nightmare, not a dream. Stop tweeting that I dream about Sunnyville.
Man crush.
It's a little worrying.
But I also think, Tank, maybe you can like illuminate this a bit. Is I think there's been a little too much, if this sounds strange to say, a little too much focus on the who's going to be marking Sonny Bill aspect to it. Because the one thing about Sonny Bill's play with the offloads that he does is it's not necessarily who's in Sonny Bill's channel at the time.
Sorry?
It's how...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were still talking about my dream.
Right.
You want to be in Sonny Bill's channel quite badly, yeah.
But Sean, you make a very, very good point. I mean, it was raised actually by Peter de Villiers of all people. Is that often when you defend against a side of the Sonny Bill in it, it's, you know, because he often draws two and the person outside him gets the gap. But it's still defending a channel or the channels that surround the man because of the attacking capability that he has. But you're right, you know, it's and that's probably another point that's worth mentioning is that I thought against the Reds, what the Sharks brought to their game was a defensive system that was just unbelievable. And I'm very blatant. I'll take a beer for that. But there's no other word to describe it. And that is something that has been lacking from the Sharks game this season. It's looked a bit sieve-like, certainly in the first couple of games. Then against the Reds, when they got up against them, they just kept them out. There was no way the Reds were going to get through them. And I think that's going to count quite nicely in their favour on Saturday.
All right, we got to wrap it there because time is marching on. So finally, as we go around on Blogz today, having heard what everyone has said about the subject, let's get predictions first of all. Just in a nutshell, Billy, prediction.
I've gone with Sharks by 2. I think the Chiefs are overwhelming favourites, and I think they should They should win it, which is exactly why the Sharks are going to sneak it.
There we go. Sharks by 2. One's good enough. Sport Billy, you can find him on at Sport Billy Says, and his blog Sport Billy. Thanks for joining us today. Tank, what do you say?
I'm going Sharks by 3, and I hope I'm doing it with my head and not my heart.
All right. Well, your heart is in the Stormers' country anyway.
Well, it's not actually. It's a misnomer.
Oh, okay. So 2 for Sport Billy, 3 for Front Row Grunt, and simply Sean, we'll leave you the last word for you. What do you reckon?
Sharks by 1.
Sharks by 1.
Sharks by 1.
That's all we want.
1, 2, 3.
Sharks by 1's good enough.
Can I just ask Tank something before we let
Very
him go?
quickly.
As the only 2 Stormers supporters here, this is probably a subject for Blogz on its own, but is it a personnel thing at Stormers? Do they need to change the coaching staff, do you think?
Isn't that another subject we can talk about next time?
Just quickly.
Really, with 1 minute
Politics of
to
Western Province Rugby on another show.
Yeah, I think it should be a Blogz topic, but quickly.
Well, don't worry. There's a column coming next week. I think it's coaching, in a nutshell.
All
I
right.
need to do more with that player, Arsenal.
All right, so there we go.
Watch
Tank
out
says
for Tank's
fire
column.
Alistair Kutsia.
Bring in
You
Divi.
said it, Scott, not me.
Tank said fire Alistair Kutsia.
And bring back Peter de Villiers!
Where's my book?
It's
my
all in my
goodness.
book!
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot, Grant. Thanks a lot, Sean. Thanks a lot,
I am
Billy.
going to write a playbook now!
We will
Away, Darren!
chat to you again next Thursday. Look out for their subjects.
Bye, Lappies!
And also, of course, you can vote for the subject for next week. It'll be post Super Rugby and, of course, in the midst of the Olympics. So look forward to your subjects on Blogz. Go and podcast at balls.co.za. Quick look at your...
We the best on 3. 1, 2, 3. We the best.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on balls.co.za. Balls.co.za.